And so the way I chose to incorporate coconut, as I mentioned, was in the muesli that's in the yogurt parfaits. And what's special about that muesli is that it's a project associated with Ottawa's most innovative food bank, the Parkdale Food Centre. And it's called the Muesli Project. And it's a social enterprise where a group of youths aged 15 to 21 were given some grant money and they also some training. And they came up with various muesli recipes, which they sell at craft fairs and so on. And it's also available at food shops like Time and Again and so on. And they're responsible for all aspects of running and growing their business. At the end of the year, which is coming up fairly soon for them, any profits that they have made will be divided up among the workers in the enterprise, and they'll be able to use it towards either another business venture or towards their further education. So it's a really great approach to sustainability.
And Paula already mentioned cellulose coming from anything with leaves. This is the last one of our current uses of biomaterials, the last success that we've had. And it takes this success beyond just Ford vehicles. The premium Lincoln MKX, again, built right here in Ontario.
But really, my beginning in social media was in live streaming video. At that point, I was on Facebook only personally, didn't have a blog, wasn't on Twitter, wasn't on anything else. And just through kind of a weird series of circumstances, I ended up on a live streaming craft show. Eventually that turned into, I was pretty much live streaming every single day, mostly craft tutorials and cooking. And so live streaming video has kind of been my passion. The problem was that when I started, I didn't really like any of the platforms that were out there. They all had a lot of disadvantages to them, one of them being that you usually had to be sitting at your computer. You couldn't be really out and mobile. And the other being that there were just a lot of glitches to them, but they weren't quite as user-friendly. So when Periscope first started, I tried it out and was like, yeah, this is it. This is exactly what I've been needing, and I'm going to try and show you why I think you need it too. So what we're going to talk about is why and why not. So the why is why I think every single person in this room needs to be doing live streaming video. And the why not is, if you're not doing it already, why aren't you doing it? And we'll talk about...
I'm Joe. My day job is I'm the Director of Communications for a union you've never heard of called the Association of Canadian Financial Officers. If you work in the public sector and you work with any FIs, we are their union. I assume there's no FIs here. Good. Because I'm not going to be overly professional today. I'm also a contract instructor at Carleton University. I teach in the Communication Studies program. I've taught courses at Algonquin College. And I write a lot in my spare time. I have written for the Yummy Mummy Club. I currently write for a hockey parody website called Bonk's Mullet. Nobody gets that except the people who do love it. Right. And yes, I actually have met Eric, the real Bonk's Mullet. And I've been a blogger since 2005. No, seriously, I've been blogging since 2005. This still exists on the internet, by the way. My very first blog, which I launched in 2005. That was my first post other than the "Hey, look, I'm blogging" post that we all write and ignore. All right? At the time, I was writing about media. I worked as a media analyst, so I wrote a lot about media critiques. It's not relevant or interesting, but it's proof that people were blogging in 2005. I also started tweeting in 2007. That's my first tweet. How's that for cryptic? I'm just really proud that it's not just setting up my Twitter. So how many of you were online, blogging, tweeting back in 2007, 2005? How many of you were doing that? I know Sue was. Hey, Sue. Yeah, of course, Miss Fish. Yeah, she was. Okay.
I went live with this post on my blog, and that was the picture that we showed. These are just quotes from it. That's the first little bit. But you can see it right there, see? I'm not the best at handling change. I don't handle change well. I've gotten a little better at it. But this was a monumental time because I knew my audience had followed us so far, but what would it mean after we started becoming even more public? My audience had grown. Things had shifted. Some people had dropped off. Many more people had joined us over the course of the year. But this was still a really big step. And because we had everyone watching, you know, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Once you say her name, once you show her face, that's it. It's done. It was really frightening. But we did it. And then things settled down again. She was having some bullying issues at school and at the end of grade 6. I pulled her out and homeschooled her through grade 7. My idea was I'd homeschool her through the 8th grade as well. And I suck at homeschooling, just so we're really clear.
So, social media, blogs, websites, etc., online media, to really understand the issues around image content and where you get it and how you alter it and how you use it, it's really important to take a contextual approach. Why are you blogging? Is it just a hobby or a pastime? Are you trying to develop a following? Do something in order to get your reputation known and out there? And ultimately, do you have the purpose of monetizing your blog or trying to enhance a business? The content, what's the purpose of the content? And these are things I'd like you to try and keep in mind as we go through the rest of the presentation. When you go back, you look at the blog posts for BConnected or your own, because these are the questions and these are the purposes that could make or break a situation and make a difference in terms of the choice of images that you put on your blog. Is it for interest? Is it just purely for information? Are you trying to educate somebody? Or are you trying to promote something? Or could it be a combination of these things? So going back again to the BConnected blog, talking about all the great things to do in Ottawa is one hand for information, and at the same time there's a promotional aspect to that as well. And this all has implications. And there's no way around it. Copyrights are at the core of all content creation. Okay, so what are copyrights? Well, copyright is the protection of original expression of ideas. It's not trying to put a monopoly on the idea itself, but on the original way that someone chooses to express it. And it only kicks in once that expression is somehow captured in a tangible form, a tangible medium. Things like books, music, film, video, I'm sure you guys know this type of thing already, they're all subject to copyrights. But something that's particularly important with respect to online images to keep in mind is the fact that so many images actually represent a form of layered copyright interest. In other words, more than one person may have an interest in the image, and so it's really important to be able to evaluate not only who claims to be the author of the image, but what actually may have gone behind the creation of that image.
So it's the process involved in creating a unique, significant, and differentiated name, presence, and image. So it's not one of those things. It's not just a name, it's not just a presence, it's name, presence, and image for a product. And your blog is a product, your website is a product, your YouTube channel is a product. I'm going to say blog a lot, but input or insert whatever word works for you. This is accomplished via marketing and a consistent theme. Okay, so you can't just do a bunch of marketing without anything consistent going on. It's just going to get messy. People aren't going to know what's going on. Branding aims to establish a significant and differentiated presence in the market that attracts and retains loyal customers. So really good branding are ones that we can think of right away, right? So there's actually a really fun game if you're ever bored on the internet. There's a website where you can just go and it'll just put up logos and you can guess them. It's like, guess out of the 4, and you can play that all day. My students get on that, and that's just the end of it.